Is it Art Street or is it Arch Street? Well, there's quite a bit of damage to the school, but teams are still trying to get inside to figure out exactly how much damage there was. Now, a lot of the roof was laying here on the playground, which you can see this evening. Much of that has been cleared off the playground, but there's still some damage around the area as folks continue to clean up here this evening, and there's still a lot of trees that have been uprooted around the area. Yeah, really busy. Almost had a hard time finding a parking spot at some of the stores up along the border this morning, but fireworks sales are booming up there. Yeah, and Dana, we've been following this all day. We learned today that police found out a relative knew of the relationship between the man arrested and the child and was benefiting financially from it. Florence School District 1 has eliminated almost 50 positions across the entire district, some of which are teachers, in an effort to balance the budget. But we do know that there are estimated around 2,500 people that live in this area that have been evacuated from their homes. Highway 31 is closed all the way to South Carolina 9, and we understand that the evacuations are mostly west of the waterway, and those extend from Highway 22 down to the Main Street connector, and we're told for folks on the eastern side just expect a lot of smoke and a lot of ash flying around in this area. Administrators here at Kane Elementary School say the transition to their temporary home has been helped by the generous donations from the community, such as these school supplies donated today by Florence School District 1. I just returned from the scene where investigators had returned to today looking over the evidence. They assure me that they are working to figure out who is responsible for this situation. With bloodhounds and SWAT gear, a several-hour manhunt in Lee County ended Thursday afternoon, with a mother and her boyfriend headed to jail to face charges for kidnapping her 5-year-old daughter. Jonathan Smith says his side of the story is different.
I woke up at 12 when I answered my phone. My mom said that if she had the kid home by 7, she would have called the police, but she already called the police because I woke up at 12. I didn't kill nobody. I just gave him a ride.
His girlfriend, Kimberly Steen, was not quite as talkative as she left the Lee County Sheriff's Office.
What kind of question that is?
We got a tip from a person that they were in this area. Working on that tip, we went to the residence, and that's where we actually found both of them in there.
Smith blames Steen and says he's not responsible for what happened with the little girl.
Why did I run? Because I got a bench warrant. Who won't sit down and go to jail? You know what I'm saying?
He says that's why he ran when police arrived at a home on Berry Road in Lee County and arrested Steen first thing Thursday morning. Smith was taken into custody a short time later at a different home on the same road, putting an end to a 2-day search for a little girl and the people wanted for her kidnapping.
No, it ain't all that what they put it out to be. They blowing it up way out of proportion.
It's another day of learning, 4 days after these students from Kane Elementary School had to move to a new school at the First Baptist Church. From rulers to pens, teachers had to grab the basics and move to the temporary school, all while trying to make the educational day seem as normal as possible.
And even the children, I mean, they have just adapted so well. I couldn't ask any better.
Principal Wanda Odom says after 9 years at the school, she was devastated when Sunday night's tornado tore off the roof to part of the school. She says the community has become home to her, and she worried what would happen to her children.
And I couldn't believe my eyes. I mean, this is what happened somewhere else, not in Darlington and not to you.
From the playground to classrooms, administrators say the First Baptist Church had everything they needed to continue the educational day.
Everybody has just come together and has said, what can I do, what can I do? And it's just been wonderful.
And early Thursday, School Superintendent Dr. Rainey Knight arrived with welcome news. These students will get to move back home much sooner than originally feared.
But we wanted to certainly make sure that the buildings were safe and secure, and we were going with the wishes of the teachers and the children. They want to be back in their schools, so we can make that happen.
The school's building number 3 isn't ready to be occupied yet, but Knight says by doubling up some classes for the next month, they can make the transition back to their home building.
And when can we get back? I mean, even though they've enjoyed it here, it's like, when can we get back?
Andy Gardner and Nick Martin may look like your average young men enjoying a day on the beach, but speak to them and you'll notice something different. They're not from here. Andy is from England, Nick from Australia, both taking a road trip around the States.
In England, I can find a beach, but it's rainy, there's no sun.
Australian beaches because it's built around like a surfing lifestyle. It's like a lot more people are there, and this one's a bit more laid back and chilled out. So.
And it's more of these international visitors a new bill passed by the Senate local tourism leaders hope to attract. The bill would use private money to pay for more promotion of the country. Myrtle Beach Chamber leaders say that's something the Grand Strand can use to our benefit.
Well, they won't be here for just 2 or 3 days, so we know they're going to be here a longer period of time, so they'll spend more, and of course that's better for everybody in the Myrtle Beach area.
The Chamber says they can piggyback off the national ads to direct people to the Grand Strand, and hopefully gaining more visitors like these two, who say so far their journey across the country has been reasonably priced.
Like New York and other places in America are a bit more expensive, but when you go interstate more, like to the Carolinas and Memphis and that, they're a lot cheaper.
All right, thanks a lot, Marla. Our top story this morning, and many of you are going to be talking about this one. A Sockasty woman has been arrested on suspicion of providing drugs to her own teenage children. WNBF News reporter Will Whitson has been following this story for us. And that was Will Whitson reporting for us this morning. Police say 2 other relatives of the victims, Michael Clifton Macklin and Eric Winston Hardy, were also arrested on suspicion of providing drugs. A developing story that we're following for you this morning as police try to figure out who robbed 3 taxi drivers in just 1 week. The latest robbery was Friday night. Columbia police say 2 men shot a cab driver right in the downtown area. The victim drove himself to the hospital and is listed in critical condition. Now cab companies in the Columbia area are offering tips to keep drivers and customers safe.
Don't be standing in the yard. Don't be coming from around the side of the house. The driver need to see you coming out of the address which you called from.
Now, Columbia police are trying to see if Saturday's shooting is related to the previous 2 robberies. Officials say that rip currents are responsible for the drowning deaths of 3 men in separate incidences at North Carolina beaches. On Thursday, 2 men were found face down in the surf at the beach on North Carolina's Outer Banks. Emergency crews could not revive either man. A few miles north on Friday, a man was found floating on his back unconscious. An attempt to revive him was unsuccessful as well. Authorities are urging beachgoers and visitors to stay in shallow water throughout this holiday weekend. And DNR officers are working extra hard to keep you and your family safe on the water. They're conducting courtesy boat safety inspections at some public boat landings. Their officers set up to help captains ensure their boats are ready for the water. And the DNR and Coast Guard are cracking down on drunk boating, and they'll be looking out for it all this holiday weekend.
We'll be screening.
Now, if you missed the free boating inspection so far this weekend, officers are going to be out throughout the entire weekend. They'll be looking for such items like safety equipment and proper boat and motor registration. If you don't have what you need, you won't be ticketed, but you'll be asked to correct the problem before you hit the water. Those inspections will take place today at the Carroll A. Campbell Landing in the Sandpit River in Georgetown County. New this morning, there is a new Miss South Carolina to introduce you to this morning, and she's from right here in Florence. Miss Capital City, Bree Boyce of Florence, has been crowned Miss South Carolina 2011. She is 22 years old and will represent the Palmetto State at the Miss America pageant. That's going to be in Las Vegas coming up in January. The pageant went late into the evening last night, where at 11, 5 women were waiting to find out if they would be crowned Miss South Carolina. Miss South Carolina and Miss South Carolina teen were both crowned at the Township Auditorium in Columbia. In the Southwest, this is no holiday weekend for firefighters in New Mexico who are battling the largest wildfire in that state's history. Officials say the town of Los Alamos and its nuclear weapons lab are safe now, but thousands of people remain evacuated. We get the latest this morning from NBC's Charles Hadlock. In other parts of the country this morning, crews in Montana are working to clean up an oil spill along the Yellowstone River. Officials say an underwater Exxon oil pipeline burst, spilling as much as 1,000 gallons of oil into the river. The spill has been stopped. Workers were able to shut down the line about an hour after the burst. There's no immediate threat to people or the drinking water in the area. Exxon crews, meanwhile, have been using heavy absorbent pads to remove the oil from the water. So far, no word on what caused that break. In record-setting heat, about 4,000 homes in Phoenix lost power and air conditioning when strong winds knocked down power lines. The high temperature in Phoenix on Saturday was 118 degrees. In the heat of the day, strong winds, gusts knocked down power poles, causing problems for drivers, but also knocking out power for surrounding communities. One woman says the temperature in her home was well over 90 degrees. A Central Florida amusement worker is dead after falling from this ride. Officials say it happened while the man was 90 feet up in the air in a harness at Magical Midway in Orlando. Suddenly, he fell about 6 feet. Now, rescue crews had to use harnesses and cables to reach the man and bring him down to the ground. It is unclear right now what caused the man to fall. The amusement park, meanwhile, is closed while investigators look into the accident. Sales are booming this weekend. We're talking about fireworks, and coming up, why folks are heading south to get their sparkle for the